On today's Top Talks, teen crimes on the rise and race. Stand by. Welcome back, Top Talkers. I'm back here with my boy Randy King and with our special guest, Mr. Joe. Mr. Joe,
How's it going, everybody?
All right. So today it's gonna be like close to home discussion.
Okay.
So there's a lot of things going on around the neighborhood where teen crime is going up. And I have a clip that I want you guys to see so that we can start discussing the issue with
Locally, right?
locally,
Like
yeah.
Washington,
State, King
Okay.
County,
that area.
Thurston County. Yeah. So without further ado, let's go watch this news clip from Seattle.
Blatantness of that assault was disgusting. It makes me so sad.
Walking out of Rite Aid's Barton Street location in West Seattle, Tori Nelson wasn't surprised to see these images of a woman having her purse stolen, thrown on the ground, and punched. Police say the suspect is only 13 years old.
The whole idea
Wow.
of being so young, that's what really is painful to listen to. It really is.
That's awful. It's a terrible thing to see.
Seattle police say the trouble started inside the pharmacy when the woman called reporting an employee confronted a group of teens for not paying for things. She says that's when the teens took her purse.
She was very bold to go after them. I would have never done something like that.
It looks like people are coming to help. Instead, it appears to be teens picking up cards that spilled from her bag and walk off.
It's always good to run away from the police. That usually works out, especially when you're outnumbered 4-1 like this. I mean, right? It's just foolish.
It's crimes like these that raise questions whether the no cells, no locks can work. On Wednesday, county auditors met to discuss the
That was definitely
ongoing
uncalled
trends.
for.
What we're
Yeah.
seeing is the numbers are going back to where they were in 2019.
This is a number of youth booked into secure detention from 2017, 1,429, which appears to decline. We're slowly starting to see bookings increase again in 2023. At the same time, those teens are staying locked up even longer, averaging stays over 30 days.
The goal of having better behavioral health services, of having more therapeutic alternatives is the correct one, but we also have to have an answer, and Lisa has explained this, to what you do with people who murder other kids, who rob others at gunpoint, who are involved in violent armed carjackings, and you've got to have a reasonable alternative if you have one.
So,
Wow.
I'm called for it.
I know.
That's pretty crazy.
That's
So, what's your take on it?
I mean, I thought that was wow. I don't even. I don't know what to say because I'm very shocked on how
Well, you
young
s-
they are to begin with,
Yeah,
and it's just make me sick
I
watching
mean,
that.
if you look at their stats, pre-COVID it was pretty high.
Yeah,
It went down during the COVID.
Yeah.
COVID, obviously, because everybody's
lockdown.
inside the house and not doing anything. And now it's picking right back up. And these are young, juvenile individuals.
Right. I think the first thing I'm going to point out, though, is it really increased from when we were young to now, or is it because it's more visible because of social media?
That's a good question.
I mean, that is a great question.
You know what I mean? But at least focusing on the now part, now we knowing the stats, and now we can actually see it on social
Right.
media. I mean, obviously, I guess we'll never know if it's higher or less, right? Because we don't have,
Yeah.
Yeah.
evidence, I guess.
Well, there's also one thing that they're talking about, which is a policy or a law. I think it's called no cells, no locks.
Ah,
You know,
again? I'm sorry.
it's a no cell, no lock. If it's a minor or a juvenile that commits unlawful acts,
Right.
they don't typically, with this one, they don't get thrown in juvenile facilities.
I know back in the day, shit, you go to jail for anything.
You
Oh,
do.
yeah.
So on this on this website, they're talking about the effects of juvenile detention.
Okay.
That it's counterproductive.
Mm.
Rather than you're actually
Helping the cause.
rehabilitating the person, you're actually just feeding into it more. That's why they were calling out
Really?
no cell, no locks. It's another approach to curb juvenile delinquency or issues through something else. But with this clip right here, with this going on right here,
Yeah.
they don't know if it's gonna work because
They haven't tried it.
that's very, very blatant.
Yeah,
It's in the middle of the
That's
day.
an assault. He just
That's an
did
assault.
anyway,
Yeah.
to begin with.
And at the end of the day, too, the individual, and it's sad to say, but at the end of the day, some of these kids get away with it. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
why are they getting away with it? That's the question.
Right.
And it's a ripple effect, They see it. I'll get away with this crime. I'm going to do it
What if
again,
they
and
do
guess
it?
what?
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
There's
No
no accountability.
No
Right.
repercussion whatsoever.
No repercussion.
And
And
at least a community service or something. Or something.
right. Or something.
And I'm just reading this
Yeah.
one
Off something.
like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
No cell, no locks. I don't know anything about it
Right.
besides what I just read.
Okay. Yeah.
I still need to do some research and find out exactly.
So here's a question. Right? So let's say these kids do it to the wrong person,
Yeah.
and they get
Get shot or something.
shot or get
Yeah.
beat the
And I
hell
think
up.
sometimes that's what it takes too.
Right.
Are we gonna
So-
wait though? You know what I mean?
Are we gonna wait, or is it the person who beat him up or killed him or whatever?
Yeah.
Right. Hopefully, it doesn't happen.
Yeah. Is
What's the
self-
repercussion for that person?
Yeah. Is
Right.
that self-defense? Because if I'm getting punched in the face,
well, either we're talking about one way as self-defense. What if it's the other way,
right.
like
Right.
a fatality assault?
Right. That's what I'm saying. So if
Yes.
I'm getting punched in the face and then I got 4 kids around me
Oh man.
and I got a gun and I feel like these 4 kids are about to kill me, what if I shoot them?
Exactly. And they're
You know what I mean? That's what you mean,
delinquent.
right?
Yes, and they're 13,
But-
13 years old.
But I don't know how old they are.
You would have never known.
You would
You
never know.
because I didn't ask like, how old are you? You know what I mean?
Like,
Like,
he would have never had, how old is this kid? So do I have the right to shoot this kid?
that's right. I don't
Right.
have the
Yeah.
time.
But it's rather, I think those are kind of things it's a factor that plays into that because,
Yeah.
using that example, it would have happened to you and you're strapped and
Yeah.
I guess it becomes as a guilty conscience too afterward, like, oh,
Right.
God, I just shot a kid.
Yeah.
But at
Right.
the same
But-
time,
Yeah.
Adrenaline. Adrenaline is
it's-
pumping.
you are protecting yourself.
Yeah.
You have every right to do that,
Yeah.
right? But, it's just one of those
Right.
things. It's a kid, but,
I think that's why I believe in them doing something like the government or I mean
Right.
the what do you call this coming up with a solution, i.e. whether go to jail or just something to show these kids that's like we don't condone these actions that
Right.
you're doing and this is what you get if you do this. You know what I mean? Because the
Right.
worst case scenario, I'd rather see a kid go to jail than getting shot by someone.
Right.
so,
You know what I mean?
Right. And I think, like what you said, the fear is not.
Because there's no repercussion.
There's no repercussion.
I know.
Like I remember back in the day in Nevada,
Yeah.
where if you do like 2 offenses
Right.
as a juvenile,
Yeah.
you're going to military school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They do have the programs. We have that in Hawaii
we
too.
had the
Yeah.
youth challenge, right?
Yeah, youth
And-
challenge
and
in Hawaii.
those
Challenge.
things still exist. Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
I think so, but
and the juvenile jail system in Hawaii when I was growing up is pretty big. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Kolau Boys Home.
That's right.
That's right. See, that's what I remember.
And
that.
that's what I think we
Yeah.
need now too. Now again, I'm not fully aware of the law system as far as the repercussions for things like this. Like them, what are they gonna get? Because the obviously on the camera,
yeah,
someone probably recognized them, and
Right.
then if it's probably someone already told the police who they are.
Yeah.
So now what?
Chances are they probably just. I'm sure they. I've seen it all the time, and this is just from experiencing,
Yeah.
watching the news and all that. I mean, they get questioned by the cops, and they get released to their parents, basically.
Oh man.
But it's alarming. I mean, honestly.
Right.
But the question that I want to ask too is,
Yeah.
how did we get there? How did some of these
Ah.
juveniles get there?
Ah,
How did we get there? What's the causes of this problem? It's
Right.
it's obviously a problem, right?
It is.
it's a very interesting you said that because
Right.
I was watching some debates about. I'm not targeting the black community, but specifically in the black community, they're saying that because the family is, there's no father in the
Okay.
family, the broken family.
Okay.
That young men, young black women, young black men and women tend to commit more crime because there's no very good standard in the house, in the home,
Okay.
right? But that's happening in the black community. It's probably happening as well in the rest of the races. Like we have,
Yeah.
Filipino
Mm-hmm.
family.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I've seen it. Like a friend of mine
Yeah.
who's a criminal.
Mm.
Right.
He didn't have a dad.
Right.
He only had his mom here when he got immigrated here.
Yeah.
So I think the family values are not there.
Right.
Bringing these kids up,
I
growing up.
agree but disagree. Okay. Because I also came from a broken family, and I think I turned out all right.
Yeah,
But I agree to the point that it is easier access to the negative activities,
Right.
Because at least in my experience, I grew up in the nicest place in Hawaii called Kalihi. So if you're from Hawaii,
I don't know about the nice part.
I'm sure they know. I'm sure they know that. That's probably you got to be rich to live there. But anyways,
Yeah, let's say up the hill. Yeah.
it's the opposite of projects.
so if you're coming in a
view.
broken family, this is
Yeah.
where I agree with you.
Cleve Valley. Yeah.
Right. So I agree with you. This is why, and I understand the reason why having a broken family is easier to get into a negative activity because, and like myself, my access to those activities are wide open
Yes.
because it's not very controlled in the house. Granted, my dad or my mom tried
Yeah.
separately, but it's different when you have both, and
Right.
you can see that your dad is there. Because mom and dad, it's like a different dynamic.
Yeah.
The way your dad discipline you, the way your mom
yeah.
discipline you, two different ways,
Yeah.
two different style, and not having one of them, especially if it's a father, which is tough love for most part.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'm getting away with murder, so I'm out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just now they tend to go out there with friends and then start.
Yeah, I'm trying to take in what you're saying, and I do believe, I do agree with you,
Yeah.
but sometimes I want to see data. Sometimes I don't know why. If you take it a sample of
Right.
10 to 100 fatherless children,
Right.
right? I don't know what the percentage would be
Right.
of how much will be led astray, how
Yeah.
much will be still straight and narrow.
Yeah.
But I do agree. You have to have both.
Right.
Like
Matters.
you said,
Yeah.
it does matter.
Yeah.
It does matter. But why are we here
Yeah.
having these types of crimes
Right.
with no repercussions?
Right.
Maybe the criminal justice system is really concerned about
Yeah.
money, because on the little blurb that I just read,
Yeah.
it really deals with
Money.
money.
Yeah.
That's why they don't want to do it.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
a facility. You got
The
to pay for
facility
that.
gets
Yeah.
overloaded. Who's
Yeah.
gonna be there in the facility to run
Right.
it? You know,
Yeah. And
I-
all the other stuff that
and
they
all
have
of
to
those
do.
stuff. I
Yeah.
think resources are not in place,
Right.
or are in place but overstretched to
Right.
support that no lock, no sell
Yeah.
policy. But I don't know what the real answer is.
Yeah.
But I do agree.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Yeah. Narrow it down.
narrow it down.
I mean,
Right.
at least at least fix one thing, maybe not everything.
Yeah.
Which you start with
Yeah.
home.
Yeah. Oh, look, great point, right?
Yeah.
So I think what we're all saying here is it safe to say that it is maybe because it's the lack of attention,
Right.
right? Sometimes that kind of gets us into that's getting some of these,
Situations.
young teenagers or kids that commit crimes. So
Right.
it's interesting because some people are saying it is because it is the attention that sometimes they don't get at home. So of course, what
Yeah.
happens when? All right, so going back to again growing up as well, I grew up without a dad,
Yeah.
and I had to learn everything myself, and what the army, go to war or go to jail. So I decided to go to war.
Yeah. The army, yeah.
I didn't want to go to jail. So
Yeah.
after
So-
high school, I went ahead and growing up, yes, I didn't have no dad to tell me I could do whatever the hell I want.
Yeah.
I felt like I was free because the mother, right?
Mhm.
God bless my mom. Okay, but you're growing up. Sometimes you have no father figure.
Yeah.
And this is going back to Mario's point. Like, yeah, you know what? There's no father figure.
Mhm.
Sometimes you just tend to do what the hell you want to do.
Yeah.
And my mom was not. I wasn't that she wasn't strong enough to
Yeah. She was
stop
probably busy
me.
too at
Yeah.
the time.
But I was just like, okay, I didn't have attention because she was working.
Yeah.
But yet,
Yeah.
here I am today. I'm glad that I
Yeah.
did straighten up. But I think part of it too is a lack of attention, and the home. I feel like that is a big factor.
Yeah.
Into some of this issues that we're
It's
running
definitely
into.
a factor, but I think I said I agree but disagree. This is where I disagree because I can't really blame parents too sometimes because there's so much,
You do,
I'm sure
yeah.
most parents can do. Like even us because we're parents, right?
Right.
Like I can do my best, but at the end of the day, like when my kids are out, I have no clue what they're doing.
Interesting.
I'm not there because I know for a fact. Me personally, I did my best. I'm doing my best. I'm at home. I'm doing
did
my
my
part.
best, but I guess
the
my
best
best
wasn't good enough. Yeah.
But going back
Yeah.
to Rogelio's
Point.
point, here's the stats from the National Longitudinal Survey of Youth.
Okay.
So ladies and gentlemen, you won't be able to see this. This is actually in Google. You can actually Google this. And if you look at the y-axis, percent who have ever been arrested, and the x-axis, what type of family structure that those adolescents live. So 5% of adolescents that get arrested from intact married family,
Means
only-
mom and dad, basically.
mom and dad together, is 5%.
Okay, that's
Right.
pretty low.
And if we go to the spectrum, the last one where it says always single parent family, either mom or dad,
yeah.
single parent family, 13%,
Which is the
of
highest.
Which is the highest.
Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah.
Well, also same with the cohabiting
Step
step
family.
Yeah.
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 Well, this is good. At least it says single parent family because I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
We just finished talking about having a fatherless figure in the equation,
Right.
but this one it says single parent, so it doesn't matter if it's a fatherless or a motherless. If
Right.
there's one parent,
Right. Which that was me because I was bouncing.
right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So, I mean, I was in the same boat.
Yeah.
Actually, didn't have both my parents.
Yeah.
My mom is in Italy, and my dad was somewhere in the Philippines.
Yeah.
But separated because of work or separated because
Separate.
separate. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but good, I can relate to this because when I was younger, growing up, as a
Yeah.
teenager, I was not a good kid.
Right.
Yeah.
I was in a gang. I got arrested one time. I was in
Yeah.
juvie hall,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then the army kind of salvaged me.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
for the most part,
Right?
Wait.
Right.
Army saved. Army saved.
Yeah.
Army safe. Yeah, exactly. I'm telling
Okay.
you. I mean,
Look
there's
at
hope.
me now.
There's hope. There's hope.
There's hope.
That's
So-
but the problem is, I'm glad you said that. I think going back to the point is the before we get to where we at.
So
Yeah.
this is funny,
You know
right?
what I mean?
Before Army save, Army save,
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah.
It seems like I'm the one that's not saying that I had issues growing up. I had issues growing up. Believe me.
Right. Yeah.
So this is funny because
Yeah.
our topic is why are teens going
Which
this
is
way?
the us before.
This is us
That's
before.
us. That's what. That's my point.
Yeah.
And we could relate to
That's right.
to a certain point, but
Yes.
never in my life that I punched a
Lady.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that is the difference from when we
Yeah.
grew up into
Yeah.
now is that yes, we committed some kind of
But we
crime.
respected our elders at least.
Exactly. It was nothing to an extreme
Yeah.
point to where we're punching old ladies, old women, and then pointing guns at them, hijacking them.
Yeah.
It's
always the same age, right?
The
Exactly.
same-
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is
yeah.
true.
It's another delinquent group that you would get.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what changed? Where's the shift?
That's the
That's a
point.
good-
That's a
No
good
question.
It's
Good question.
That's actually a very interesting question that you brought out because
Yeah.
we were them, except
No.
the activity
Well-
is just completely
well-
different.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Back in the day,
Yeah.
Satanas and the MS-13,
Yeah.
they're pretty rough. I mean, they didn't care.
I think they're
even
still
older
the same.
people and stuff like
They're
that.
still the same. So could it be culture?
No. Okay.
Because
Maybe.
MS-13 is majority what?
I think with that age, teenagers could be that. I got it. Peer pressure. I think.
Peer pressure?
As far as like have you heard the saying, "Show me your friends, and I show you your future."
Yeah.
I think that has something to do with it. It's it could be that one kid out of that 4.
Yeah.
The guy that punched that lady might not be even the guy that's really the worst guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Could be.
It could be that guy that just ran away,
Yeah.
the head guy.
But here's what's
I don't
funny.
know. That's a hard question, man.
It's culture. I'm telling you, it's culture and trying to prove themselves as a young individual.
The individual.
Well, let's go back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go back to when it was our time.
Oh,
when we were the
What
one.
were you doing
When
when
we
you
were
were
doing
13 years old?
Peer pressure.
peer pressure.
I'm not gonna say that my friends were the nicest. I was hanging out with friends. Some are good,
Yeah.
some are bad, but I was hanging out with them. So
Yeah.
whether it's good or bad, whatever the activity that day, that's what it is. Make sense?
It does.
You know what I mean?
Well, I tell you what, when during the younger days in
Yeah.
LA,
Yeah.
California, majority of Filipinos that I know of
Yeah.
were part of a gang.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Why do you join a group?
Because it's cool.
No. Well, that's one.
That's why.
I know.
A sense of belonging is what
Yeah,
some
there you
people
go.
say.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sense of
Because
belonging.
I mean, if you look at the historic, some of the stuff about gangs, it was just a whole bunch of people that are picked on. Next thing you know, they just
Yeah.
formed up a group and they
Yeah.
were calling gang.
That is
Now you
a-
can't mess with us.
That is the most common story that
No
you're gonna
sense of
hear.
belonging,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? It's,
Don't
Sense of
forget,
belonging.
it's like
don't
not
forget,
not
don't forget the
having-
girls, man.
Oh man, I'm not gonna say it.
not having. I think. Yeah, you're right. I mean, not having that family again. It
Right.
always goes back to
The sense
that
of
was my
belonging and
family.
Right.
You know what I mean? No, that's your family.
Yeah.
You're always gonna hear that. You know what I mean?
And you know why, right?
Yeah.
Biologically, we made it like that.
Yeah.
So there's a gene in our DNA that enacts us to be with tribal groups.
right.
That's why we have different tribes in Africa, different tribes in the Philippines, and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So that longing for compatriots that have the same thoughts, have the same beliefs, and have the same character
Community.
community
Mhm.
is instilled in us. So if you go to a different country like America and you're brand new, you don't know anybody,
Right.
what you gonna do? You
Yeah.
try to lean on to those people that's your kind
Right.
in that community. So, and most of the gangs are like that.
So let's say that back in the day, for us, it's about a sense of belonging, community,
Right.
same likes.
Yeah.
We may have the same problems. That's why we were
Oh, yeah.
bonding.
Right.
And protecting that community and that family
Yeah.
gets us in trouble.
So let's fast forward to
To
now.
Yeah. You think that's? I don't know, because I
don't necessarily think they're gangs.
I don't think gang activity now is
Yeah.
as heavy as before. I
Well,
don't think it's gang. I don't
let's
think.
remove the gang. Well, the gang is let's just say it's not a dedicated group,
Yeah.
right? But it's still a group,
Right. It's a small
Yeah.
group, whatever it is.
whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they may not be called a gang, but in a community sense,
A crew.
it's a crew, right?
Yeah.
It's a group.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because look like that one is a group.
Yeah, group
Yeah.
of friends
Yeah.
that's out there terrorizing other people, I guess.
Right.
So,
Well,
But 13, man.
13.
That means that, you know,
They can't even make a child yet.
13 is.
Can they make child yet? No.
I don't know, but to go back when we were still little hoodlums back in the day,
Right.
what was the punishment if you do get caught?
You're going juvenile, man.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You go to jail.
well,
Yeah.
family court. I remember that.
Yeah.
So
Pick up
it was
trash.
up. It was up to the no. I kid you not, man. I can't say that I've been through that situation before, but I
Yeah.
can tell you that I had friends who went to family court, and it was
Yeah.
up to the judge to decide whether or not you go
What's the punishment?
to the boys' home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've had friends that went to boys' home for doing stuff like that. I
Yeah.
mean, it was petty crime in my opinion, but they still went to. It was up to the family court system to send them.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that they're. I think, like what we were saying, it goes back into it's today's society.
Yeah.
12 or 13, yeah, I was doing stupid stuff already, but at the same time, I was
Mhm.
outside throwing football.
Right.
I was outside playing. I was riding my bicycle.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't have cell phones.
Yeah.
I mean, the next closest phone you got was a
Yeah, yeah,
payphone
yeah.
where you had
Yeah.
to put a
Or
quarter.
the pager.
And
Or the pager.
Yeah, exactly. So we were doing other things, and now with the society, it shifted significantly
Right.
back from in the early '90s and all that. So it is now has become more. They're smarter too, by the way. They
Yeah.
know what
Oh
they're
yeah.
doing,
Oh yeah. They're very
right?
smart.
Some of these kids, they're smarter than you think.
Yeah.
They know what they can get away with. That's the
Right.
reason why, in my opinion, they know what they can get away with, so they'll commit
do
those
it.
because
Right.
they can't get me for that because
Yeah, because I read it on Google.
Exactly. Exactly.
I Googled this. They said they can't touch me.
Google law.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
So,
funny we're talking about this, right?
Yeah.
Like my older friends when I was younger,
Yeah.
my teenage years, I mean my 20-year-old, 30-year-old friends. They always talk about the 70s and the 80s, the bomb.
Yeah.
Now, everybody is getting along, blah blah, music was great.
Yeah.
And now here we
That's
are
true.
talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
Music is better in the 90s and 2000s.
Right.
Clothing.
80s.
80s.
Hey, don't show your age. I'm just saying. No.
The three of us.
But look at it now, though. I mean,
Me in color
did you guys see some of these kids wearing baggy
Me
pants
in color
nowadays?
Yeah.
Baggy pants are coming back out. Like, is it baggy pants? Like, I remember wearing that.
Oh man.
Hey, anybody wore the Studio 2000 pants?
One thing I don't understand, right, is I know this for a fact because I have friends in jail that showing your underwear while you're wearing pants means that you're somebody's bitch.
Yeah.
Why are the teenagers wearing that shit right now? Are they gay?
Because it's cool.
It's not cool.
Well, I
Why
wanna-
you're somebody's bitch?
I wanna address something real quick though before I forget. I think you used something about. So I'm gonna use. So if they're smart because of the technology, right? Because
Yeah.
they can get information right
Right.
there in their face, right?
Yeah.
So I think
Right.
to combat that, we should use the same platform and show them like if they're googling how can I get away with punching someone in the face, they should also see right away like if you do this, this is what you get. You're going to jail.
You know what? Let me
You know what I'm
Google
saying?
and see what happens.
Let me tell you the future.
They need to know what they can get away with and what's the repercussion with what they think they're getting away with.
But
because
the
if they're
future now, the
Yeah.
future,
yeah,
AI,
yeah,
you can get away with shit nobody even know. Just use AI. How
Well,
do you
that's-
How can you hack? Oh
Right.
shit! How can you hack a bank
yeah.
so you get every transaction you get a penny? Oh, I'm not gonna tell you how because.
But that's what I'm saying is I think we should the law system, the people that out there that has the control or has the power to do something or to write a law, they should think about that. Like,
Yeah.
these kids are getting away. Why? That's the question, right?
Right.
because they're smart, they can read what they can get away with. So what are we gonna do about it? Is to show them also
Yeah.
the same platform. This is your repercussion.
And
Simple as that.
here's another question for you.
Yeah.
Now that you're saying that
Yeah.
younger kids are more mature, more smarter, whatever,
Yeah. Because of social media.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do in the words of Dave Chappelle,
Yeah.
how old is 16 really?
Yeah.
Do we? I mean,
Yeah.
if they're smarter now, right?
Well, R. Kelly said that's all enough. Did I just go there?
We don't condone any of that.
Only R. Kelly.
But think about it. Back in the 1700s, right before during the medieval times, whatever.
Damn, you went way back.
Way back. I'm gonna structure it for you, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, 11, 12-year-old are considered adult. They can marry people. 12 years old.
Okay.
Move forward to the 1900s,
Yeah.
13, 14. They
Okay.
can get married.
What country?
U.S.,
Okay.
England, Europe, 13,
Okay.
14.
Right.
You get married, right? You know, that's in the history books.
Yeah.
Middle East.
Middle East.
You can
I
have
mean,
10.
look at that guy, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say. And then I think back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, that's when we
Start changing.
start changing to 16, 17. I mean, hell, we had people still marrying 16-year-old back in the 40s
Right.
and 50s.
Yeah.
60s. And now, how do we really,
Determine.
determine what's the maturity rate of these kids?
At the end of the day, it's your principle.
Right.
At the end of the day, I don't care because I get what you're saying. I
But
think your point is that you're trying to make is we created a age
Yes.
to be legal or illegal. Correct.
Right.
That's the point you're making, right? But at the end of the day, I got it. Like it's in doctrine, it's on paper that says this is illegal or this is legal. But the principle, you know what I mean? Regardless of the law or the illegal, you know that it's wrong.
But based on what?
On my principle. That's what I'm saying. It's an opinion.
Exactly.
Right. My principle saying, shit, that's 13 years old, man. I'm not marrying that 13-year-old.
So you're telling.
Right.
So what I'm hearing from you is
Yeah.
the
It's my
principle
opinion,
is based on
The opinion.
the cumulative opinion of the
Yeah.
community, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So does that
Does that constitute wrong and right? Right or wrong?
right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what your point.
Morality really is
Yeah.
is subjective, not objective.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
'Cause
I can see
what
that.
I think is right might be something you think
True.
is wrong,
True.
right?
Yeah.
So how do we determine these kids?
That's why they created the law.
Right, but
Yeah.
based on what?
Based on the majority.
Right. So now how
Basically.
Basically.
based on
Yeah,
the based
basically.
on the majority of what culture? United States, our culture.
Well, based on the community that actually controls that community. The more people believe in one thing,
Yeah.
even
So-
though you do have some
So
objectivity.
here's where
Right.
I'm going after.
Okay.
Right, based on what we discussed.
Right.
Don't you think that the culture now is allowing these crimes to increase? Because if you think about the culture now,
Okay.
it's more of, no, we gotta cuddle them, we gotta blah blah,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Based on what we just discussed, right?
Right.
Morality and all that stuff, based on your opinion. So it's
Right,
based
right.
on culture,
Yeah.
cumulative opinion. So do you think that
Oh, and
the
of course, and stats.
and stats too?
Yeah, stats. You have to use stats because you know what I mean. If you don't use stats, then you don't have like a evidence that we
Yeah.
can change the law.
Yes,
Know what I
but true. But
Yeah.
based on the environment, the
Yeah.
culture now, it's driving the laws to be a little bit more lenient.
I think people got to speak up, man, and that's the
Yeah.
whole thing. It's the voices of the community that at the end of the day that's gonna affect
Change.
some of this law.
Yeah,
Right.
yes.
There you go.
I mean,
There
that's
you
the
go.
reason why
Yeah.
you see people all the time having all, these town hall meetings, for
Yeah.
example, right? But
Yeah.
does enough people really show up to this, right?
Yeah.
We know that we have a problem, we got an issue,
But nobody shows up.
But nobody shows up.
Yeah.
Exactly. At the end of the day, when it's go time, it's like everyone don't want to say
Yeah.
anything
Nobody
about
want
it,
to
right?
execute.
So
Yeah.
it takes a community as well in my opinion, to make some changes.
Yeah.
We have to tell leadership. We have to, like what you're saying, the people that writes the law,
Right.
that we've had it. We've had it. We had enough of this.
Yeah.
All right. This is what we're proposing as a community.
Because of this.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because of statistics.
Yeah.
Again, it's stats. It's a proven that.
I agree. I agree 100%. But the
Right.
problem is because of the culture changing, the culture shift,
Right.
not a lot of people has the same mentality as us. We can probably go to the town hall and say, hey, change the law, blah, blah, blah. But how many of like-minded people are like that? I think
That's when you use the stats.
Right. I mean, without the stats.
Well, I know what you're saying, because three of you might believe in something, and I believe in one thing. But my stats prove that I'm right.
Even though you're right, it's
The
still
stats.
the majority.
The majority.
Right. That's why they
Right.
have to, in my opinion, they have to look at the majority and the stats, I think.
Yeah.
They have to find a middle ground to where, look, the crime is high because of this. And
Yeah.
you guys are saying, let's say, the crime is high because we don't have I don't have, anything.
Money for detention
Or
or
whatever.
whatever, right?
you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
something. You know what I mean? I think they have to find a middle. Okay, I get it now. So based off that, I think they gotta find a middle ground to meet the majority and the stats.
Yeah,
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
it does.
Yeah.
So what do you propose? Because the proposal of no locks,
Yeah.
no cell for the juveniles because of
Well, no
whatever.
locks are.
Well, they get turned over back to
The parents.
the
The parents.
parents, so they control
Mhm.
rehabilitation or whatever the case may be. They don't want to put him behind cells
Right.
or locks because
Yeah.
it's another breeding. This is just my opinion. Another
yeah.
breeding ground for criminal activity, or
Okay.
it's just plain money. There's no budget to run facilities, cells.
Right. Because it does
people
cost
to-
money.
Yeah,
That's a tough one.
it
Yeah.
is.
And
What
and
would you
guys can-
propose?
I don't know.
And as you guys can tell, right? If you guys heard about the detention center here, I mean, they're overwhelmed, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
house.
that's the reason we had so many. We've had a few escapes here, here and there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys probably heard about that. So, I guess at the end of the day, we're sending these juveniles to detention centers,
Right.
and it all boils down to this. You're
Yes,
absolutely
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But is there other avenues of approach that we could utilize? Some people say you could, rehab or counsel or that kind of stuff. But is it feasible? Is it something
Yeah,
that is
does it work?
That's still money.
Do you guys remember back in the day, the approach to curb gangs was to create another like community sports program
Right.
to draw out the kids from that kind of activity and get them into a positive environment?
Right.
Yeah.
Is that still going on?
Oh yeah, I mean
I
I've
know
heard
they
it.
are.
I've heard it happening. To where I know a lot of these professional NFL players, for example, they'll go back to their old community and just generate some sort of activity for for children. That way they can. Flag football is just is
Right.
one of those things.
Yeah.
But those can certainly help, especially in a troubled area where there's high in crimes, but at the end of the day too, look at where you're at.
Yeah.
I think it plays a big factor, but it's on the individual though, and
At the end
it's
of
on
the
the
day.
individual too,
Yep.
and if they want to listen or not, because at the end of the day, people's gonna do what they want to do, no
Wanna do.
matter how
Mhm.
hard you try.
Yeah.
And that's something that I learned. You can try to teach, coach, mentor,
Yeah.
and do bend over backwards for individuals, but at the end of
Right.
the day, guess what? We're human beings.
Yeah.
And unfortunately,
You're gonna do.
we'll
We'll do what we want to do.
Exactly.
Right.
But we're trying to avoid all that, and that's the whole thing.
Yeah, it's a
So-
tough situation, man. It's
It is.
It's one of those things that, because the point you made is we can spend all of this money, do this, do that, and then that kid,
No,
I don't know,
I don't agree.
probably
I
gonna be
mean,
the same way.
at the end of the day, it's a decision for the individual.
But we gotta try something.
I mean, we got 4 individuals here who had almost similar experiences.
Right. that
And most of us made the positive decision on
Right.
what we
Yeah,
wanted.
it was
and
exactly.
I think that's the message that we can talking about social media, and that's why we do this podcast, because this is the message that we want to send out there, and hopefully those kids can watch this
Yep.
and say, you know what I mean, when am I gonna stop to better myself so I don't have to end up in a jail, Should I end up in a jail or just be like those 4 yahoos over there on podcast talking about their better life now because they made the right decision, right? Which is the message we want to tell them. Like, dude, you're 13. You can probably get on our age and incarcerated.
I mean, come on, who doesn't want to retire at the age of what, 38? You know?
Right.
I mean, when they start working again. But yeah, you're right. We have to convey this message that, we again, to a certain point, I can relate to what's going on in today's society. Yeah. But it's the individual. It's always that's my opinion. Like people say, "Oh, why is this messed?" Why are they doing this? But at the end of the day, the individual can can control yourself.
You can.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
You can control the thing. You can control yourself actually because at the end of the day, you are who you are. But if it's like moral. You gotta have that. What is the positive? What are the positive things that I can do instead of going out there
punching somebody in the face?
Yeah, exactly.
Old lady
in the face. Shouldn't we,
do that to a guy?
Respect.
You know what I mean?
It's rough, man. It's a tough. It's rough.
First of all,
it is.
I know because that video just got my ears heated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, just
could have been your mom.
give me your number. We'll just meet up at the park. You know what I mean?
Let's go.
Dude, that's a lady, man. The moral, the principle. Come on,
It's out.
dude.
It's out. And mind you, that's just one.
How many is out there, right?
How many is out there?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Right.
So here's a good one.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Here's a good one. Should parents be punished
Yes.
based on their kids?
I don't
Yes.
believe. I
believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it.
I don't believe.
This is a good one because let me tell you why.
Okay, let's vote for that. So you don't.
I made it.
Oh, you
It's
believe?
Michigan.
Okay, you believe?
Do I believe parents should be held accountable for your juvenile son punching somebody in the face or doing any other crime?
Well, just crime. Period.
I say yes,
Okay.
and let me beat the hell out of that kid.
What do you mean by accountable? Like
of their wrongdoing, right? Let's just say they're a juvenile.
maybe
right?
elaborate on that.
So what I'm
statement.
saying, what I'm saying is, if a kid did any crime,
Like
right?
that kid.
right?
Okay.
Should the parents be accountable based on
To what degree accountable?
Well,
Pay a fine,
they're still your
throw
kid.
them in
They're
jail.
still responsible for that kid, right?
Yes.
Because they're
Like
juvenile.
getting fined
So
or
that is
something.
you're responsible. So or go to court or pay a fine or community service
Got it.
with the parent.
Okay.
That's kind of a
okay, I
deal,
got it
right?
now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because what
got
I'm
it
trying
now.
to get at here is
Yes.
they're a kid. It is still the parent's responsibility.
Yes.
Now that you said that, I don't agree and disagree. And let me explain why. This is kind of gray area for me. I don't agree because, like we said earlier, we can't control what the kids doing out there when we're not out there, right? And that's why I never always blame the parents for what their kids are doing because I ran into that problem
Right.
in my own house, and I met the parents and they're good. Those parents,
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
as far as I know, they're good people.
Right.
And you know what I mean. But accountable, I think if they put a little fine and stress on the family, I agree. Maybe a little fine, like, hey, look, $500 for your kids wrongdoing,
Right.
so that the pressure on the parents to put more discipline on their kid, I think, will help.
Right.
Yes.
That's why I agree and disagree. So I agree for a fine, but me going to the jail for my son, no, send him to jail.
Right. For their wrongdoing, but unfortunately,
A fine, maybe,
it
yes.
happened.
Yeah,
It just happened recently.
Right.
If you guys recall that case in Michigan, to where
Yeah.
the kid went in there and shot up a school.
Yeah,
Guess
yeah.
what they found guilty as well because of the negligence.
Yes.
The parents, they're serving time
Yeah.
because of
Yeah,
That's a
you're
great
talking
area,
about
man.
having the weapon.
Yeah.
They bought him the weapon.
Yeah.
Oh, they
Yeah.
bought him the weapon.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that's where I stand is
Yeah.
as parents, right? You have to own what your kid.
I think
I
think
ownership.
I think you should preface the question
Uh,
with the gun stuff.
oh,
But here's the thing,
If I
right?
buy-
It's
How
my
old is the kid?
The kid was in what, 13,
How old?
I think
14?
it was high. Was it high school?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, that's different story.
But here's my opinion.
Yeah, yeah,
and I said I own what my kids do because
I agree. Yeah.
I raised this child. I don't want nobody talking to me about how to raise my child. So I'm
Agree.
gonna raise my child
Right.
however I want them to raise. Now,
Right.
if I fail to convey values, if I
Right.
fail to convey morality
Right.
and being a good citizen to my child,
Yeah.
that's all on me
Right.
because I did not teach my child to be a good person. If I spoil my child to be surrounded by other individuals and not warn
Right.
him, don't hang out with this bad crowd, that's on me.
Right.
If I let my child do whatever the heck he or she wants.
Right. Right.
So if my son does a crime, I'll take
Yeah.
responsibility. Now, once they turn 18,
Yeah.
hey,
Your own.
you're on your own.
I think it's total,
Right.
total
That's-
ownership and total control.
Yes.
I
Okay.
think so we're
If you
trying
put
to get at.
if you put an age limit restriction there, then I see your point. Yeah. Young teenager.
I
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
That's tough.
I think it's a deeper conversation
Right.
about finding or having accountability, responsibility
Right.
as a parent
Right.
to a certain degree about the child.
Yeah.
I'm with you about raising and teaching your children, but you're talking about yourself. I'm talking about me.
Yeah. Right.
Do you think everybody else do have the same moral standards
Yeah.
or what is right, what is wrong?
Parenting
Right.
skills.
It's hard,
It's hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Because it is different. That's why it's hard, man. It's a gray area because like I said, I ran into that problem, and I really believe that those parents are good people.
And I know that problem.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
But the kid, I don't think is in the right place. So I'm not sure what's going on in the household, but
I myself believe that
Yeah.
there's something really going on with a child
with a child,
that needs further assistance.
right? And I think that's where the parents need to step in and like, hey, let's put this kid on
Well,
counseling or something.
That's what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
it's up to the parent. What
Yeah,
if the parent doesn't want to see it that way?
That's right.
Still,
that's
still
your
the end
point.
of the
Got it,
day,
got
it's
it.
still the parent's role.
That's your point,
Right?
Okay.
Because that's the love of your life.
Right.
You
gotta do what you gotta do.
And
Yeah.
sometimes you are blinded
Yeah,
because you believe that person, your child, is a
Right.
good person.
yeah,
You don't see the bad.
Mhm.
right.
And that's always the case. Is that they're great. It's you know what I'm saying. They're your child, so of course, no matter
Yeah.
what happens, you're gonna stick.
you gotta
Yeah.
support
stick
them.
to them. You're gonna stick with your kids. So
Right.
that's true. Like it always.
It is very true.
It's hard, man.
It's a hard topic, especially if you have kids and all of that. It's
Imagine
yeah,
if those four individuals, just knowing.
right.
Now you're running into your head like, what? The
Damn, I
hell?
know the parents.
I know the parents.
That kid that punched that lady. You're right. Because what if
And that kid that punched that lady, man, I can't believe it. He's respectful.
What if no? How about this? What if that one kid like shit? That's fucking Joe's kid or Mario's kid. Then now what? But we know you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like shit. The parents are good parents, right?
Right.
At the end of the day, like holy shit, like what the fuck?
What now?
Now what, right?
Let me beat the hell out of my.
Are they really a good parent?
I know me. I'm gonna bring him somewhere hard. Bring him back. Oh, you think you're doing the right thing? All right, let me take you to fucking Visayas.
No. My point is, like, that's why I can't always blame the parents. That's what I'm saying. Like, because if that's your son and I know you, like, there's no freaking way.
Imagine this one.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I will take ownership. So this is me.
I just
I'll
can't blame you though.
You don't have to because I blame myself.
Fully. You
Yeah,
might
because
you
you accountability that you were
Exactly.
feel bad because it's your kid.
So
Yeah.
no. If he
Yeah.
does
took
something,
accountability of his kid's action.
if he does something
Yeah.
stupid,
Like that. Let's say that kid.
man. Oh, he's not gonna be here in the
that's-
States.
I think
It's not gonna
that's
be
pretty
here.
common, especially in a Filipino household.
right.
Someone's gonna get smacked.
Where's my belt?
Remember,
Where's my
before back in
slippers?
the day, we get whacked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind you smack him. I don't care. I'll smack him with you.
Usually the first thing that was at reach.
So here's what I'm saying is that
yeah.
it's
Okay.
our heritage. Our
Our culture.
Our culture is different because
Right.
if you hit my child because he did something stupid,
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit him with you.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Okay.
Like, oh, he did what? Oh,
Right.
fuck, let's.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfucker, don't do that again.
Yeah, because the first question should be, what the hell did you do for Uncle King to punch you in the face?
Yes,
I was stealing a bike.
exactly.
Pope.
Exactly. Because you know what? He's dishonoring
Yeah.
our family name.
and the culture.
And the
Here you
culture.
go. Here's
Yeah.
also culture.
Right.
Even today, and
Yeah.
I witnessed this one when I went home to the Philippines for vacation.
Right.
Unknown, they don't know each other.
Right.
But she's an older lady
Right.
carrying a lot of bags.
Right.
One person
Okay.
actually went out, helped her, put it and stuff inside the bus,
Right.
escorted her all the way. They don't know each other. And that's the
Yep.
culture.
It's the
Yeah.
culture.
That's our culture.
That's
so
true.
when we see that, we're like, oh shit, what the hell? They don't respect elders.
Right. That's
Right.
true. Yeah.
So
yeah.
you really can't say,
Yeah.
like, I know us, we're good parents because I know
Yeah.
our kids and all of that.
Right.
But outside, yeah, we really don't know.
It's going to be hard. It's
Right, because
Yeah.
you're exactly, and that is that's the scariest thing. However, right?
Right.
Because they go out,
yeah.
we don't know what they're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah, we
However,
don't. Yeah.
I always say I have full confidence
Yeah.
that their behavior,
That you did your best.
that I did my best to raise my child.
Yep.
Right.
That not
Do
that
this.
don't hit anybody, don't steal anything.
Yeah.
Don't do anything that's gonna.
Yeah.
Don't do no crime. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Remember
We
that,
only can think that.
remember that
or
scene
wish.
in Fast and
Yeah.
the Furious where the Chinese guy got his
Oh,
house got
yes.
raided and the fan went like,
Yeah, dishonor.
you dishonor our family.
Yep.
That's us.
Yep. Came in. He
Yeah,
got
yeah.
smacked by his
He got
father, man.
smacked.
Right.
That's
I
the
mean,
biggest disgrace
Right in
ever.
front of
man.
law enforcement too, by the way. Right?
Yeah,
That's true, and that's
Yeah.
going back to the circle of initially what we talk about. You gotta start from home.
Yes.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
you gotta start.
But remember,
Yeah.
even in that Fast and Furious scene,
Yeah.
that's a home that's complete.
Right.
But he's still a dickhead.
Yeah,
still did.
you're
Well,
right.
if you look at the father and the culture, and they're Chinese.
Yeah. I mean, they had money. You could
They
tell.
have money.
Yeah.
Why was he committing crime then?
Because it's
Right?
fun,
Because he's spoiled.
Yeah, there you go. A little-
and it's fun. Peer pressure.
yeah, I mean, and that's where greed gets you too sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Different
yes.
topic there. So
I know it's
Man, we couldn't even go to the other subject because
Right.
we're almost
yeah.
8
But
minutes.
it kind of
It's-
it's yeah. Because it's a tough decision because we're all fathers, we're all parents, we all can relate to this situation, and we all have different opinions on how we approach this. But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, I'm gonna close it with this, right? Something needs to happen,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah. I don't condone
No,
what happened. I do feel sorry for whoever got hurt.
right?
The kids, they agree. There should be some accountability,
Yeah.
repercussion for actions
Yeah.
that go with, policy, laws, standards, community standards.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah. Outlaws, man.
I think we gotta do better. We have to influence change definitely, and I just want my message is that it's on. Sometimes it's on the individual. I think for the most part we know what is right and wrong.
Yes.
We know what is right and wrong because we should have been taught that like from the beginning. But ultimately, just it's one of those things that we have to influence change. We have to get with our youth and teach them, hey, this is right, this is right, and this is wrong. And it starts like what you said, in the home. But what if, even if it doesn't have to be at home, it could be someone that you trust as well.
Yeah.
It could be your school counselor. It could be a mentor. It could
Somebody.
be anyone.
Yeah,
somebody.
Yeah.
But reach out to somebody.
I forgot. when the lady dropped her purse, who was the one picking up those?
Some teenagers, they're picking up carts and walking away with it.
Is it the same group?
I think it's
I
four
think
of them.
so. Yeah.
I think they said 4 of them.
Whew. Yeah. Sad part is there's also people
Bystanders?
Right.
Bystanders, right.
They're
Yeah.
doing-
You're right. You never talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
We only got
bystanders, yep.
5 minutes now.
Bystanders. Bystanders, you suck.
Yeah,
Man.
I mean,
Well,
the least they could have done is at least like,
Like,
hey,
oh,
what do
help
you
the
mean?
lady.
Yeah, like, hey,
Punch
what
that
y'all
kid in the
doing?
face.
But sometimes though, we're just too we
Afraid?
don't want to get involved.
Yeah, I
We don't
get
want
it,
to be
I get
involved.
it.
That's the and sometimes that's the problem. We don't
Yeah.
know when. Like, oh, that's not my business. Like,
right. There's no sense of community.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, no, man, that's wrong.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
That doesn't happen in the Philippines.
Oh no, we have bayanihan.
I don't know about that one.
Oh.
Well, my message for everybody, for those parents that see the news and they are disgusted, talk to your children and at least once a day say I love you or I care for you or whatnot. Make them feel safe and discuss with them values and principles, how to be a productive member of society and be a good and kind individual to the world. And if you are the one that did these crimes, young man, you need to relook your life and see what life is all about and what it really means to you. If your life is all about, giving terror to other people, stealing and all that stuff, do you have the capacity to enjoy that? Do you like what you do? And if not, look for other avenues to seek help. Because to me, if you're doing that crime, you're yelling out for help. You just don't know it, and you just don't want to, say something about it because you're in denial. So seek help, and hopefully you turn yourself in or you got captured.
Or go to your nearest military recruiter.
That's
There you go. Join the army.
I think they should gather all of them together, put them in a plane, and drop them off in Afghanistan.
Yeah. All right, man.
Give them guns.
All right, man. When you steal stuff, they cut your hand off.
Yeah.
And
There you go.
I said, yeah, you like beating people up and shooting at things. Well, guess what? The U.S. Army's got a job for you.
Yeah, you're the perfect man
Yeah.
to be in the front line.
That's right.
All right, but that's all I have. What you guys have?
Good one.
Good.
Yep.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
gotta do a shout out to my brother Jeff Ramirez. Thank
Oh,
you
yeah,
for
thanks,
the videos from Balayan, Batangas. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
And thanks for what you do to our top productions.
Yes, and the T-shirts.
Oh yeah.
Awesome, man.
One day we'll send you Coke money. The one in the bottle, okay?
And I want to say thanks to Joe to
Nope.
hanging out for us and
Yeah.
first podcast with Mr. Joe.
Pretty natural.
Pretty natural.
Natural,
Okay, don't forget to like, share, subscribe,
Hit the
and
bell.
click the notification button. And again, everybody, thanks for hanging out with us.
And next time we'll talk about race. We said it, but we didn't
Yeah.
talk about it.
And these are Top Talk signing out. Peace out.
See, 1 hour is fast.
Oh yeah, I know.
You did good, man. Look at you. The beer is here.
You know it's still recording, right?
That's good.
All
Hey.
right.
See, now you know what we do after.